Okay, I must destroy all. I'm going to try to answer your question, and you might not agree with it, but hear me out. The reason I think that the WWE is making this 3 hour long Raw is War, well, it's not called Raw is War anymore, but see, I just mistakenly did that because I come from the 90s when the WWE was actually good and it was called the WWF. Anyway, so the reason why they're probably doing this 3 hour long thing is because they probably want to get more airtime. They want to get more space on the channel that they're on, whatever channel they're on. I don't know at this point. I remember when they used to be on USA. So they want to get more airtime, take up space from the Big Bang Theory probably, and essentially monopolize the market even more. They know that this 3 hour long shit is going to appeal to somebody. It's going to be a media blitz. It's going to essentially create a stir and temporarily boost their revenue. It's going to boost their money because everyone's going to be talking about it. Whether or not it actually plans out for them is irrelevant. It's just something to do. It's something to spontaneously boost their revenue, and then they can worry about it later whether or not it plans out and go back to 2 hours in like a few months. So that's really what it comes down to. This is just a gimmick, like everything else that wrestling has become over the past 10 years. It will never be as good as Aggression Era. I know I sound like one of those fanboys you mentioned that said that Aggression Era was better, but it was better. The wrestlers were better, the scripts were better, the storyline was better, everything was just good. They had good heels, they had good faces, it was entertaining, but wrestling is no longer entertaining. And because it's a monopoly, it's not going to be entertaining because there is no worry of not being entertaining because what else are you going to watch? Isn't TNA just an offshoot of the WWE anyway? Doesn't Vince McMahon own rights to the TNA? And they own rights to ECW, and they own rights to just about fucking everything that has to do with wrestling, besides those background wrestling in your mom's basement videos on YouTube, but I give it only a matter of time before fucking Vince McMahon owns that too. So, yeah, it is a pure monopoly. And why the government hasn't stepped in to break up that monopoly, I don't know. But I don't even know why people watch wrestling anymore, to be quite honest. It's just not entertaining in the slightest. The characters have no depth. It's just boring. I'm not trying to bash anyone that's a WWE fan. I don't care if you're a WWE fan. If you are, good for you. But I just think there are more interesting ways to amuse yourself and entertain yourself. Like, if you're going to be into something like that, there are plenty of other sports you could get into. Yeah, and I'm not talking about Ultimate Fighting Championship, because I think kickboxing is ridiculous, too. I'm talking more like hockey, or football, or soccer, or baseball, or anything. Maybe not baseball. Baseball's stupid. But you get what I mean. So, that's my response video to you. I hope you don't get too offended by it. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not trying to say that WWE fans are retarded or that, because a lot of younger viewers don't know about the Aggression Era, they don't know what they're missing out on. They think this is the best talent that WWE's ever had. No. It was fantastic in the 90s. But then again, so were the cartoons, so was the music. Everything was better in the 90s. And I know there might be a tint of nostalgia in there, but for the most part, you gotta give the 90s credit for coming out with very breakthroughs and everything. Even video games. Because, as much as I bitch about the video game industry, you didn't have these problems in the 90s. In the 90s, there was adequate competition between the video game industries, and they actually seemed different. You did not have this Sony and Xbox 360 acting practically like the same fucking console. They actually had different games, they had different semantics, they felt different when you played these different consoles. We don't have that anymore in anything. All the music is just one blotch of gray. All the gaming consoles are one blotch of gray. Wrestling is one blotch of gray. Everything's fucking boring and sterile. And it's because everything's been conglomerized and turned into one gigantic monopoly. You're not going to be able to fix that by simply bitching about it. You're not going to fix that by even getting the government involved to break up these monopolies, because that's not how the system works. That's not how capitalism works. And I know that, I'm pulling at straws here by just mounting everything to capitalism's fault. I could take one subject and then by 2 degrees, capitalism. But it's true. Why do you think things are the way they are? Capitalism. So, like I said, you can agree or disagree with me, but I just figured I'd make a reply video to your video, and I cordially invite you to join the Allies of Darkness, because I'm very impressed by your entire video series, and I think you would make a strong addition to our team. So, see you later, dude.